Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Second cast of the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you feel special? As well you should, because you are. It's going to be a ladder match, and not only that, it's going to be an average Joe's. And as my mother always used to say, average Joe's are like buses. You wait all year for one, and then three come along at the same time. It is just and only just an average Joe's. I did my little tally up between these two players earlier, and they equate to just 2 points before the or below the cutoff, so about 1498. But if you have a 1500 cutoff and you say everything south of that is going to be an average Joe, then you have to stick to it. So effectively, they are dead on the borderline. Before we crack on with that, though, just like to mention the Brains tourney once again. I did mention it a couple of casts ago. It's going to be called Revolution, and the initial post has been placed on the forums. I'm going to put a link below this video in the description about that, so you can go on and check it all out for yourselves. If I haven't done it, guys, by the time you're watching this, feel free to yell at me in the comment section, and I will remember to go and do it, because my memory is terrible. But basically, effectively, what we're looking at is it's going to be some crazy rating-based tournament. So if you've got, say, I don't know, a couple of high-rated people on your team, like, say, I don't know, a Luzon or a Blackheart, a 2,300 rated player, you're not going to be able to throw those into every game. You're going to have some lower order people for the team matches. So you're going to have lots of weird setups. They're going to be larger maps of 8-player slots that will have, say, 4,500 max ratings per team. But you might only be able to pull in a couple of players. You might be facing off against 3 or 4 players, but they have lower ratings, so you're going to get really weird, diverse combinations of player. I think it's a really exciting concept, and I can't wait, and I may just be throwing my hat into one of the teams. We shall have to see. But anyway, on to today's game. It's going to take place on Desert Arena, and my waffling has gone on long enough because the players are gating in as we speak, so let's head on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Up here at the top left in the red corner, going Cybrin, it's Lucky 7. He's opening first land. Going to get a few mexes in tow, couple of P-gens. He stacked one of those P-gens up against that mex there. You can see that's going to take the edge off the power requirements when it comes to upgrading that mex. And his opponent down here at the bottom right also going Cybrin, so it's going to be a Cybrin mirror matchup, rocking the blue in the blue corner. It's going to be test play. He's going first and second land. So we'll see how that works out for them. Of course, Desert Arena, very wide open, flat map. There are some deviations in the level you can see as we scroll around. So you do kind of have to be relatively careful, of course, where you're placing point defense to make sure you're not blocking yourself. You place it in some of these recesses. The hills can get in the way, or indeed any of the other hills. You have to be careful and be wary where your opponent is driving from in order to get maximum efficiency out of those. And also, of course, because it is completely flat, you can literally go anywhere. Your attention span has to be very good. You have to be very aware of the map, very aware of the battlefield, more so I think than usual. And of course there is a ton of mass on the ground, being as it is potentially a 4-player map. You have all of these starting locations and stuff in the middle, and tons of reclaim, of course, as well. So expect this one to escalate quickly. We're already seeing 2 factories down there for Lucky. Third one in tow, and he's going all out land for the moment, not seeing any air factories in play for the moment at least. And test play also going to go all out land. He's got 3 factories placed and built, and another 4 queued up. Going to be shoving a couple of them down on top of the hydro. We are going to see the first air factory go down as well for test play, so he is going to be putting some commitment at least into the air game, which is always nice to see. First few units coming across the field though now for Lucky, going to run straight into the ACU from test play. It's a couple of Mantis and a Mole. I don't think they're even going to be able to bag a Mex out of this because of unfortunate choice there. And now over on the left hand side we're also getting a few Mantis engaging one another. Down goes one for test play, but test play in general has numbers over on the left hand side, so he's going to emerge from this little engagement the victor, still rocking 4 Mantis in that group, albeit a few heavily damaged ones on the front and the left-hand side there. More reinforcements coming in now from Lucky, striking down the right-hand side. That far left Mantis there for Lucky going to get picked off. Display also losing one, and now making some progress in towards the southern mass extractors from Lucky's starting location. Wants to try and bag an engineer if he can get close enough to one of them, but all he's running into is Mantis. Nice little bit of movement play there from Lucky, saving that engineer. But one rogue Mantis just sitting in the middle, and it doesn't look like either player has been too successful at grabbing engineers. I think it's a credit to both of them that they've been good at shielding those engineers. There's obviously lots of reclaim close enough to your base. You don't need to be exposing them unnecessarily to any early fire if you can avoid it. Now getting some diversity in unit mix here from test play. We've got a Medusa already on the field. Another one coming in now from the right hand side, also one in from Lucky. So these guys very similar in their timings. Take a look at how they're doing. Lucky actually seems to be a little bit further ahead on mass, but no sooner do I say that, suddenly we get a jump to 50. But of course that's not representative for test play. It drops down to 20 because he's bottlenecking on power. Minus 60 net or so. I think that's probably down to him starting to produce aircraft out of that air facility on the right hand side. You can see he's got a lot of power spam marked up. You can afford to do that on Desert Arena, of course, because of the amount of mass. Some other maps you have to be a little bit more careful with what you go for. Still no air factory being placed down for Lucky. Tons and tons of land factories, so he's committing to the land play in a big way. And test play now way ahead though on mass, and that dropping down then of course as the power becomes critical once again. So difficult to determine what is actually real eco and what is not, of course, with the reclaim being a factor. I do believe that Zepp is looking into a way to divide up the resourcing a little bit better so we can see quicker who's actually on what and by how much, if you know what I mean, without being interrupted by reclaim. We've got the reclaim counters up here as and when we need to see it from Gaz UI, but now another little push there from Lucky, and he's got himself caught between some reinforcing units coming in from the side. I don't think that's going to go too well for him at all. Test play is going to emerge victorious from that little engagement. Let's just take a look at how many factories these guys have got on the field for now though. In terms of land factories, we're looking at 9 there for test play. How many for Lucky? He's got an awful lot online. Actually grab. Okay, so he's already got T2 as well. I immediately go straight up there to the T2 land factory. 12 T1 and a T2. So Lucky doing very well on the production facilities point of view in this game. Doing very nicely indeed. Is constantly running into superior groups of units in terms of numeracy there from test play. Take a look at where the ACUs are placed. Test play's up here at the top right hand corner, still building more land factories. Lucky is closer to the action with his ACU, getting in there to try and grab as many mexes as he can. Love to see general kill counters, real-time kill counters for the game in this. Someone in that thread talking about the eco scores at the top right had done some playing around with that. Of course, you don't want to do anything that lags the game potentially. And we're starting to see some air units on the field now from test play. Jester coming in, and that's going to arrive at the same time the T2 units arrive for Lucky. Rhinos in the mix there now for him as well. But the Sky Slam is going to make life awfully difficult for that gunship. The best he can do now is going to go around and look for unguarded mass points from Lucky. I think that's what he needs to be doing. Not going to be able to get any traction in the mix now. Far too many Sky Slammers in there, and he doesn't want to devote too many resources to the Jesters either if he's not going to be able to gain any traction in there. Another one having popped off the conveyor belt. It's going to be a very close run thing, this one, and now that Lucky's got his ACU in the mix as well as a couple of Rhinos, that could get very difficult on the ground very quickly for test play, who's yielded quite a little bit of map control here as he's pulled back towards his base with the majority of his units. We're starting to see quite a few wrecks on the field as well. You should see Lucky not driving forward with his ACU just as yet. He is pushing forward with these units, and the Rhinos present quite a hefty boost in firepower to this mix. And we're now seeing some hoplites on the field as well for test play, so he's made the transition to T2 land. In come the Jesters. It's obviously cleaned up the remnants of those Sky Slammers, and now this little group of units here from Lucky finds itself outmatched. It's strafing up and right. If he could get in here and assassinate some of the build capacity around this T2 factory, he would do well. But of course, taking a look at how Lucky sees the battlefield, he's got no intel there whatsoever, so he wouldn't know that that was a good choice of action to do. Test play coming in now to the middle with his ACU. Busy on popping a few units. Taking a look at what these guys are running. 9,000 power there for test play, so he has access to overcharge. Lucky still on 4,000. He does not, having not built that power storage. But definitely something he should think about, I think, in the immediate future. Now they're starting to get more of the ACU action involved in this one. Two guys just kind of strafing backwards and forwards from one another, not wanting to overcommit, take too heavy losses. One bad engagement is all that's needed at this point for either player to take a loss. Rhinos increasing in numeracy slowly. As soon as I say that, though, one front starts taking pretty heavy fire. Down one goes. Lucky now finding himself once again rather heavily pressed, but up here at the top, very wide open flank from test play. All of this completely vulnerable. 2 engineers down, another 2 engineers, 3 engineers on reclaiming duty. We've got vulnerable mass points. We've got a factory that's going to go down completely undefended. And what's nice about this is that that has not pushed Lucky at all. He can spare that. He can pull back, regroup, stop any advancing play from test play, and still threaten all of the top of this side of the map. And things suddenly looking slightly bad here for test play. Going to lose that factory, I think, or potentially not. I don't know. Medusa bombs coming in. Finally, it goes down. And now this top flank looking very vulnerable indeed. We've got a couple of hoplites in the mix. We have got a Cerberus turret that's gone down as well, some T2 PD, which will afford test play some protection there. He's still marching on the rampage forward, and Lucky is looking a little bit pressed now. Just to funnel more troops down to this side to prevent test play from advancing any further forward up the middle of the map, which is what he's doing. And now all of this build capacity around this T2 factory has been spotted. In comes Lucky to wipe out those engineers, and that will slow up the production of those hoplites dramatically. Potentially give Lucky a killing blow in this match. Still more Jesters on the field. Neither of these ACUs having taken too much damage here. And Lucky now having access to overcharge. He must have built that energy storage. Test play on around 9,300 HP. Lucky on around 10,800 HP. Test play still not wanting to look like... Still not wanting to overcommit, but a beautiful overcharge there. That looked like at least 6 Mantis going down in one single blow. And those are rounds that test play cannot afford to take. If he could grab a few more units and send it up top here, do what Lucky just did to him, it might get him back in this. But now another little press from Lucky. Lots of Rhinos in the mix. These Cerberus turrets have appeared out of nowhere, though. But the trouble is, once again, relief of the land getting in the way. Look at all those shots getting blocked by the hillside. That is keeping Lucky alive as he sticks to the trenches here. Nicely done. I'd like to see a few more Medusas in the mix of Lucky's units to help deal with these Cerberus turrets. But suddenly Lucky finds himself very isolated, and test play is pushing the advantage. He knows it must be now or never. All of these Mantis coming in. Test play focusing his comm on Lucky. Lucky trying to thin out the chaff as best he can as his reinforcing units come in to assist. But Lucky down to around 4,000 HP is being backed up pretty severely. Test play knows he needs to get a kill here. Lucky down into the red, 2,000 hit points and retreating. 2,200, 2,100, 2,000 into the teens. Test Play knows he has to commit now because he's probably lost in terms of map control. 1100 hit points are falling down into 3 digits now. And the hoplites continuing to pursue. Nice overcharge there and a nice rank of veterancy. Gets Lucky back up into the yellow. 13 minutes gone. Test Play still committing to the attack. He really can't back off. He just hasn't got any map. Look at what's happened to his base. That is all but lost. Test Play has to continue. And even if he goes pop now, if he can keep measure with Lucky, he's got to think that his explosion will take out Lucky as well and tie the game. He's committing to it in a big way. Look at the HP just fall off Test Play. Down he goes, and Lucky pops as well. Nice draw there, pulled out of the bag from Test Play. Lucky feels aggrieved as well he might. He had basically won that game. But you can't protect your commander. You can't call it a win. So very nicely played. Seriously short one there, guys. I know 15 minutes of gameplay is usually my bare minimum, but what do you want from me? It's the second cast of this day. Get off my back. More to come though in the future, as always, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.